Don't tell people your business at all. At all. Because here's the thing about people and what's strange about people. I would recommend the book by Robert Greene, uh, The Art of Human Nature, I believe is what it's called. Read that book. People are illogical as hell, and people are finicky and fake. And all the information that you tell them, they are going to either tell somebody else or try to use against you later on. Every single time. I would say 99.9% of people do this, at least in my experience. Almost every single one. Every single one. Let's see, how many people have I met in my life? I've probably met like 7,000 people in my life. That's just a rough estimate, maybe more than that. And they were all manipulative and did weird shit. They even manipulated me and gaslit me into thinking there was something wrong with me. This is something that's also, I'm gonna talk about this in a different video. Let's just stay on track. Because I got another video I'm gonna give y'all. But the biggest thing you wanna understand is don't tell people your business. And the funny thing is when you don't tell people your business, people are going to create your business, meaning they're going to create a story around you. It's like a literal fantasy novel, bro. Like they will create everything you do and they're going to analyze everything you're doing. So for example, I'll give you a really, really simple example. I remember in high school, I was when I was like I think I was a junior. Was I a junior? I think I was a senior in high school, right? I had switched schools, right? And I remember there was this teacher. She was a Spanish teacher. She wasn't even my teacher, but she was a Spanish teacher. And I used to stay in her room during lunchtime. Like I'll eat in there, chill in there until it's time to go to my next class. Because my next class was literally next door, right? And there was always like these 2 or 3 girls that would come in there, right? And this is more stuff on women. I wouldn't talk. I would just have headphones on and just chill. Or I might talk a little bit. But for the most part, I didn't tell nobody in there my business. Because there was like 2 other girls that were always in there. There was this really pretty girl who was like 16, 15. All the dudes were obsessed with her because she looked like she was like 25, but she was only like 15. She was literally like a sophomore, but she had like a grown woman body, fat ass, nice legs. She had like that slim, thick body that all the dudes like. She had that shit. And she was tan skinned, right? And then there was another chick who was a senior who was 18. She was short. She was like 5 foot. She was a cheerleader. I don't know if she was the head cheerleader. She was a cheerleader. And she talked like this. She had like a little kid voice, right? She was like super judgy too. But I would be in there, wouldn't talk, wouldn't say nothing. So basically what they would do is their whole thing was creating a story out of my emotions. Like they would just guess my emotions or make up nonsense about my emotions. So for example, they would say I was grumpy. That was one thing they always said to try to provoke me for some reason. They would say I was grumpy or had a bad attitude. But again, I'm sitting there silent just like this. But this tells you something about women nature, but dudes do the same thing though. But this tells you about female nature is they'll do stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, you're grumpy. Or they'll start just asking you like an extremely big amount of questions when you're like a very silent guy. And I could tell you, I have multiple stories about being silent. I'll tell y'all some of those later on. But I was silent most of the time. So they would always be trying to get my validation, right? It was always trying to get my validation and get a reaction out of me to see like what would provoke me. So 9 times out of 10, they would say something like, like, why are you so grumpy? Or why are you in such a bad mood today? Or you need to start being more open, or you need to start being more kind. Like, I don't like the attitude you have. Like people would say stuff like that. They would be like, oh, you have a bad attitude. You have anger issues. You're the mad black guy. You know what I'm saying? Like all this nonsense people used to say when I was in high school, right? And it was always interesting because they wanted a reaction. They wanted a response so bad. And they wanted a reaction and response just so they could get my information, just so they could tell my business. That's all it is. It's all it is. They just want to go and tell people my business. I'll try to give y'all another story. There was like a dude that worked at the old job I worked at, and I saw him when I went to the store, and he was just asking me like hella questions, like, "Oh, so where do you work now? And what you doing now?" They literally only ask you those questions just so they can go back and tell somebody your business. They just want the story of telling all your information to somebody else. Never tell people your business at all. They shouldn't even really know where you live, to be honest. Don't tell people where you live, where you stay at. Don't tell people your age. Shoot, don't tell them nothing. Because all they do is tell other people. They're like literally telling other people. Then those other people tell other people. Then those other people tell other people. And it just becomes an endless game of them telling your business. So don't you as a person tell your business to someone else because they're going to tell your business to someone else. It's that simple. Keep your mouth shut. Stay to yourself. Like, comment, subscribe, follow your boy.